Yo, what's up everybody? Happy Friday. Yeah, boy, we made it. Well, I did more than make it, actually. I was on a little bit of a trip earlier this week, which was kind of cool. A little random impromptu trip out to Florida. That was pretty fun. Beautiful down there for sure. I was sitting on the patio one morning and saw a dolphin do like a whole show for us right there in the bay. It was so cool. Anyways, saw a manatee too. That was kind of neat. First time I ever seen one of those in the wild. But yeah, K Creative here, Bamboo Solutions, Kevin Townsend, all those things representing. So what's going on with you guys on your Friday? Today we're gonna do our weekly newsletter roundup. We're gonna go over the news, see what's going down in the SharePoint world over the last 7 days-ish. I missed the stream on Wednesday. I was traveling, so if you guys were looking for that, I apologize. Did not get back in time to do that. Let me get the newsletter rolling. Take a look, see what's going on in SharePoint world. All right, got it up here on my screen. I'm gonna do a little zoom in so you guys can see that nice and clear. Alrighty, so I touched on what it is. SharePoint newsletter, weekly newsletter roundup we call it. Every week, Friday morning, 8 a.m. you can get some of that. Come in here and we put this link in chat actually so that you guys can access it if you're interested. So yeah, we put this thing out Friday mornings, 8 a.m. Got a bunch of stuff in there, 3 sections to it, top news stories around the blogosphere and SharePoint events that are kind of going on, maybe potentially in your area that you want to get plugged into. I'm gonna try this from my chat, my universal chat here. Let's see what happens. Did it work? No, didn't work. Gonna have to work on that. So we'll do it in Twitch. Works there. But I'm gonna have to copy that link into global chat so that you guys on YouTube and Facebook can see it as well. So, boom, there's a link for registering for the newsletter if you're interested. Every Friday we do this thing at noon, we go over it. But if you want it in your mailbox, 8 a.m. on Friday mornings, go ahead, register. So let's go take a look. What do we got today? Top news stories. Not a bunch up there. That's cool. Easy to get through. It only takes about a half hour usually, but we are here 6 minutes past the hour, so let's just get rolling. The UN hack stemmed from Microsoft SharePoint Flaw. Big news on this. In fact, we posted a blog article on our website today talking about this, so if you're worried about the security posture of your environment and this potentially happening to you, call us. Call somebody. Get some help. Make sure you got that thing locked down. So anyways, reportedly the bug wasn't patched, leading to a data breach in July. Hackers breached the United Nations network in July by exploiting a Microsoft SharePoint vulnerability, according to reports. The breach, which appears to be an espionage operation, reportedly gave the hackers access to an estimated 400 gigabytes of sensitive data. Crazy, right? The breach was swept under the rug by the UN until this week, when an internal document outlining the hack was leaked by the New Humanitarian, a global news agency focusing on human rights stories. According to the confidential document, at least 42 UN servers were compromised in Geneva and Vienna, potentially exposing staff personnel data and sensitive documents for other organizations collaborating with the UN. Yikes. See what they say about the hack here. So this is coming from Threatpost, author Lindsay O'Donnell. Servers in 3 separate locations were compromised: the UN office in Vienna, the UN office at Geneva, and the UN office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. Headquarters is also in Geneva. While the specific data was compromised is unclear, we don't know what data specifically. The document implies that staff records, health insurance, and commercial contract data were compromised. The hack also inspected the UN human rights. All right. What else we got about the details here? Although hackers, they're saying, this is a quote, it looks like, although hackers accessed a self-contained part of our system in July 2019, the development servers they accessed did not hold any sensitive data or confidential information, according to the UN statement. The hackers did manage to access our active user directory, which contains the user IDs for our staff and devices. However, they did not succeed in accessing passwords, nor did they gain access to other parts of the system. So, the type of malware utilized and the command and control servers used to exfiltrate data is unknown. The identity of the hackers, as well as the extent of the data collected, is also unknown. However, the security experts that Threatpost talked to said that the attack was likely launched by a sophisticated threat actor. It was heavily targeted, appears not to have the basic security hygiene in place to ward off commodity threats, the UN that is, let alone state-backed actors. Well, lack of alerts. Senior UN officials did not notify anyone, even their own staff, about the breach. UN staff members were only asked to change their password. Yikes. So, in today's day and age, I feel like you just kind of have to suck it up. You're going to have to just kind of eat it and just put it out there. Yo, we got hacked. This is what we got to do. First step, change your password, right? But just kind of saying, you know what? I think it's time for a password change across the company. That's a little bit weak. You just can't get away with that stuff anymore today. But did they talk about the SharePoint vulnerability at all specifically here? Doesn't really go into detail about it. But it is called out as a SharePoint. Oh, here it is, right here. According to the Associated Press, which also viewed the internal document, that breach stemmed from an exploit of a flaw in Microsoft SharePoint software. The remote code execution vulnerability, which can be found there, was patched in March. However, the UN reportedly did not update its systems. Ooh. So it was patched in March. Hack was in July, if I understand correctly. Yeah, you think you got time? Don't. All right, next top news story. Does your business need SharePoint? Well, of course it does. This is coming from Nitin Agarwal from PC Tablet. He says, we're all the way in full swing of the new year, which means your business is likely looking forward to strategizing and perhaps considering new software and technologies that will keep you competitive. Goals to most businesses right now in the general sense are boosting communication, collaboration, and transparency. So, one new set of technologies that you might want to implement is SharePoint. Whoop. SharePoint integrates with Office 365, includes document management capabilities, and there are also third-party SharePoint apps that can make the platform even more valuable for your organization. What do you know? So what is SharePoint? 101 stuff here. Let's see how he defines it. SharePoint can be used for the creation of websites, and it's a place where businesses and team members can store and access information and documents from any device. All that's needed to access what's stored in SharePoint is internet access. There are also different SharePoint products. One is SharePoint Online. This is a cloud-based service hosted by Microsoft that's useful for businesses of all sizes. You subscribe, and then employees can create sites where they share documents and information. Yep. There's also a product called SharePoint Server. SharePoint Server, organizations can manage the server on premises or with an Office 365 enterprise subscription. And you can create modern site pages, and there are features for lists. You can do all that stuff in online too. You just failed to mention that. SharePoint Designer is a free program, which is not really supported much. I don't know. I guess it's supported, but it's kind of phasing out there. You can do the stuff on there to like sync documents from team sites, yada yada. Ultimately, the goal of SharePoint is to help team members come together on project communications. If you're a dispersed team, it can be especially useful. So would SharePoint be useful for small businesses? He says one benefit, particularly for SharePoint Online or of SharePoint Online, is that it's monthly subscription, so you can scale up or down as you need. Then your employees can upload documents and multiple people can work on them at one time without version control issues. You can also create internal websites that are geared toward a particular project or client, and everything regarding that is stored in one place. There are tools like social network features, and it could theoretically be a good way to speed up communication and collaboration, even in small businesses, and particularly if anyone in your team travels often or works remote. Yeah. Excuse me. So that just barely scratches the surface on can it be useful for small businesses. As you probably know, small businesses don't necessarily have all of those external applications to handle, not always, but sometimes, like time management, like timekeeping type of stuff, maybe expense reporting. Maybe it's project management. Maybe it's, what else? Just knowledge management. All those things, right? SharePoint just kind of gives you that one-stop shop for that. And I think it really should be highlighted for small businesses as a very cheap, low-cost point of entry to get solutions around that. Now, granted, it may take some experience to actually be able to implement some of that, but for the most part, it's gotten so intuitive with the new SharePoint Modern experience that, for $12, $15 a user a month, you get all the services in Office 365 and a platform to stand up a couple of those little apps I just talked about. Yeah, can't beat it. Benefits of SharePoint for bigger organizations, there's all kinds of them. Yep, intranets. SharePoint Online gives you the visibility over business operations. It powers decision making at the enterprise level, where it can otherwise be challenging to have this kind of visibility. All right, cool stuff there. Yep, just touching on a little bit of the benefits, I guess, of SharePoint versus whatever the other alternatives are. There's a lot of them. Top news stories. Google may be working on an all-in-one business messaging app. I've been reading about this. I was a big fan of, I got John Morgan on the call, but we used to use, what was that thing? Allo, Google Allo. It was a little chat app. It was kind of like a little beta. But it was really cool. It had all kinds of great functionality in it that really was useful. Being able to use Google search in the chat, so I could like type at Google, give me directions to this place, and it would put it in the chat for us both to be able to click on and have the same exact result, right? Or at Google, find restaurant American food, right? And it would put all that stuff into the conversation between the two of us, and it was just really neat. It had a bunch of AI type of stuff in it. Anyways, I'm assuming that's going to roll up here into this all-in-one business messaging app as well, because they've gone through their share of messaging apps, that's for sure. So let's see what we got in here. Google's developing an all-in-one business communication service that combines productivity tools and several messaging apps, according to a report. It's planning to pull together the likes of Gmail, Drive, Hangouts, Meet, and Hangouts Chat in one place. The company is said to be currently testing the app internally. If it does see the light of day, it appears the service will be part of G Suite's productivity tools. Got it. Teams and Slack both have voice and video calling features and integrate with other workplace services. G Suite is lacking those types of communication options. So if Google combines its messaging apps with Drive, that might open the door to better collaboration opportunities for its enterprise customers. What are they saying here? So Google's messaging app strategy is convoluted, however, because Hangouts, Meet, and Chat are supposed to supplant Hangouts, which still exists for now. There's also Google Duo, an Android RCS-based chat app, which confusingly is also called Chat. They got Android Messages, and they got Google Voice. It's a pretty eclectic, baffling group of services, they're saying, many of which are incompatible with each other. And it is kind of interesting where they're going with that. Just sounds like a whole bunch of different maybe departments or groups within Google that are kind of working on very similar functionality, and they have yet to kind of cohesively come together. All right, here we go. I used the new Microsoft Edge, and I can finally quit Chrome. Yeah, I saw this one. This is a good post. Yeah, I gave up on Chrome. Ever since the Dev Canary branches of Microsoft Edge Chromium-based came out, I just went straight over to it. And I kind of like it. I like it a lot. To me, it's almost identical to Chrome. I'm not sure what I miss about Chrome, if anything at all. But it's in the SharePoint family, or not the SharePoint, but the Microsoft family. So therefore, I feel like I'm going to get more integration out of it in the world that I work in. So Microsoft recently launched its Chromium-based Edge browser on Mac OS, coming from Akshay Gangwar from Beebom. That was exciting news because in a world where it's hard to compete against the absolute behemoth that Chrome is, and thanks to the fact that most developers code websites to a browser, and that browser is often Chrome, it's difficult to use a browser that's, well, not Chrome. So however, Edge had the potential to be something better, or at least just as good. We tried it out, never thought it would say something like this, but browser built by Microsoft. But Chromium-based Edge does a lot of things really well, and I think I can finally quit Chrome. So last week, I think, on SharePoint Weekly Newsletter Roundup, we talked about how the Chrome project, the Chromium project, I guess, which is the base, the underlying technology under Chrome and this new Edge, is now taking major contributions from the Microsoft side, specifically in memory management, if I'm not mistaken, and battery life. So one of the biggest qualms, he says, with Google Chrome happened to be something that everyone hated about the browser, and that's that it's a resource hog like no other browser. So Chrome can not only quickly hog up the RAM on my MacBook Pro, he says, but it also heavily affected the battery life that he can get from the laptop. So Microsoft, in this Chrome version of Edge, has definitely got some better performance in that way, I suppose. So he does a little bit of metric reporting here on that experience, kind of documenting Chrome versus Edge, and giving you those stats there, it looks like. I will say the Chrome extension, the extensions for Microsoft Edge are not quite as populated as they are in the Chrome Store, but that's okay, because you can actually install Chrome Store apps into your Edge browser. Very easy, too. Pretty cool that you can do that. For instance, there's an app I like to use to tell me what kind of technologies every website I visit is using to produce the website, and it's called Wapalizer. You can see it here on my screen. I'm not even sharing my screen. That's ridiculous. I haven't been sharing my screen this whole time. Nobody told me. So anyways, here's the extension up here in the top right corner. So this little app will give you the technologies that make this website present itself, right? And so that's only available in the Chrome Store currently and not in the Edge Store yet. So I was able to install from the Chrome Store into my Edge browser as an extension. Pretty neat. So let's take a look here. Just a better looking user interface, they think. This guy thinks. You see he muted the tab browser there. You can see that it's actually playing music. So if you're wondering where the sound is coming from, it shows you right there on the tab, and you can click that little speaker icon to mute it. Pretty cool. Yeah, he says he just likes the way it looks better. Pretty neat. Here we go again. Next one. Microsoft stock surges to a new all-time high as cloud growth accelerates. Motley Fool. So this coming from Danny Vina over at the Motley Fool. Expectations were high going into Microsoft's earnings report on Wednesday. No doubt the stock gained more than 55% last year on the strength of its cloud services, pushing Microsoft's market cap above $1 trillion again. I believe again. Investors were hoping for more of the same, and the company did not disappoint, delivering revenue that was more than $1 billion above expectations. For the fiscal 2020 second quarter, which ended December 31st, Microsoft reported revenue of $36.9 billion, up 14% year over year, soaring past the high end of management's forecast. Topped out at $35.95. Pretty neat there, right? Second verse, same as the first. Each of the company's major business segments delivered strong growth that exceeded the guidance Microsoft provided last quarter, illustrating the overall strength of the company's results. See what they're saying about LinkedIn here. Actually, productivity and business processes generated revenue of $11.8 billion, 17% up year over year. Within the segment, Office commercial products and cloud services increased 16% year over year, led by the Office 365 commercial revenue, which jumped 27%. LinkedIn delivered consistent growth with revenue up 25% compared with the prior year quarter, while Dynamics revenue climbed 14%, driven by Dynamics 365, which grew 42% year over year. That's pretty good. Commercial strength, continued momentum on strong guidance, 10 stocks we like better than Microsoft. There you go. So anyways, yeah, really good earnings call there. What is Microsoft Search and why is it so important? From On Microsoft. See what they say. So this is coming from Arif. Bacchus over at OnMSFT.com. He says, you're likely familiar with both Bing and Google, two very popular search engines. However, if you're part of enterprise or business with an Office 365 subscription, you might also have heard mentions of this Microsoft search. Microsoft, even if not, you might have heard it recently, as Microsoft recently cited it as a reason for its decision in making Bing the default search engine for the Chrome users with Office 365 Pro Plus subscriptions. So what exactly is Microsoft Search? And this guy, he says he's going to kick off a series about it. So I got a video here from Microsoft. How long is this video? Check it, direct it. Let's begin. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. Go back. How long are we? We're a minute. You want to watch it? Let's see what it is. Let's do this. Let's pause our music and play the video. Here we go. Pretty neat, right? Oh yeah, who doesn't like those little 1-minute clips, huh? Good stuff there. So as the name suggests, he says sort of, Microsoft Search is an enterprise search platform. It's designed to bring personalized searches across Office 365, Windows, and Bing. Essentially, Microsoft Search allows you to help you complete what you're working on and find things such as files, charts, and help you answer common questions. It also suggests results based on your previous activity in Office 365 and whatever is trending inside your organization, which is pretty neat. Very personal, customized, especially if you're using the 365 suite of products in your workplace or enterprise, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Why is Microsoft Search so important, and what are the benefits? So why is it so important? It comes down to one thing. Unlike Bing or Google, which are public search engines, Microsoft Search is able to index your internal files on Office 365 and lets you find the things you've been working on using all of the Microsoft products. Lets you search across Microsoft 365 from any search box and get back to what you're working on. It's easy to use, makes it simple to find share files, relevant content, and is on by default. IT admins can even tinker with Microsoft Search to show more useful content. Yep, I actually have already noticed it as I'm doing searches on Bing, right? Let's just say I try to find invoice, right? You have right here, Microsoft Search, show results from Bamboo Solutions. Boom. I get some search results. Go look at them specifically and dig into it. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. All right, so let's on with the top news stories. That's all gone and done. Let's move down to around the blogosphere. We're gonna skip through this quite quickly so we can get to the events, and then we'll be calling it a Friday and get back to work. Check my schedule again because I am running behind already. Where am I at? Yep, got some time here, so let's get through this though. Ready for these calls. All right, so around the blogosphere, 3 reasons you need to understand SharePoint User Profiles from the SharePoint Maven. Can't skip one of those posts. No, you can't. This is posted on January 29th from Greg over at SharePoint Maven. He says, in case you're a SharePoint admin for your organization and you're not familiar with SharePoint User Profiles functionality, you probably need to spend more time familiarizing yourself with it and getting intimate with it, because while you might not need to use the feature right away in your portal, you might or will need it eventually. A few reasons why you might need it. Let's explain. It says, what are SharePoint User Profiles? Let's do this. Let's define it. Instead of me trying to explain, he says, it gets very technical and beyond his expertise. He'd like to get you into some of the pro information, which, you know, from Jeremy Thaku, he's done a good job of this. So let's go check that out real quick so we can get a short, sweet definition. He kind of breaks down each piece of the profile to tell you where that stuff is coming from. I see. Manager attributes, wrap up. Okay, well, that didn't get me where I was going, but let's see where we're going with this. Why you need SharePoint User Profiles. Reason 1, manage user delve profile. You can use the user profile to tweak personal info of a given user. Say Jane from HR does not know how to add her photo or phone number in her profile. As a SharePoint administrator, you can do this for her. 1 and 2 steps right there. Voila. Reason 2, manage delve properties. When you access delve, you see almost Facebook-style user page with contact info, projects, skills, etc. User can populate those specific fields and make some of them either public or private. Okay. Reason 3, access users' OneDrive account. Did you have an employee leave the organization, but you want to retain their OneDrive documents for historical purposes? As an admin, you can give access to their OneDrive to anyone within your organization. I wrote a detailed post on the topic some time ago. There you go. All right, so 3 reasons why you need to understand SharePoint User Profiles. Okay. Okay. Bamboo Solutions returns to SPTechCon. Whoop. Yes, we will. Coming up here. What's the date on that? February 18th through the 21st. Got a blog post on our website here. If you're interested or you're going, got us a nice little discount code there, $200 off the full registration. Hit us up. We're gonna have a booth. Rob will be there. He's gonna have some beanies. We're gonna keep that thing warm on top of your head. SharePoint Roadmap Pitstop. We usually touch on these briefly because they're just so rich and full of content. Good stuff. SharePoint page version history they're talking about here. Custom search result pages from SharePoint sites. Microsoft Stream, FYI. Office 365 video retirement. Okay. Image resizing of the image web part. SharePoint team sites, next steps panel. That's cool. Email notifications for comments and mentions in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Cool, cool. New article to highlight. SharePoint sites for highly regulated data. New features coming to the Office 365 app launcher. So it still is called the app launcher. All right, it's good to know. Good to know. I got on some blog or some post I thought was an official post not too long ago, and they called it something else, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought that thing had a name already. It's the app launcher. Still works. Anyways, the list goes on and on, right? Look. There's just a bunch of stuff in the roadmap Pitstop. If you haven't seen that yet and you're in the SharePoint space, get some of this because it's good stuff. I'm gonna paste that in chat for your convenience. Yeah, you might want to get in on that. I just keep pasting that into Twitch instead of YouTube and Facebook. So sorry about that. Now it's in both. SharePoint Online PnPProvisionning include document library file contents and file versions. I'm not going to go into that, but there's probably a nice technical walkthrough and a tutorial there to help you do that. SharePoint provider hosted app update to TLS 1.2. Be aware of SAMESITE cookie changes. Yep, probably of importance. Split your PnP provisioning schema into multiple files for better maintenance. Another good dev technical blog there. Dev, I say. I mean, that's more administrative. What do we got going on here? Fixing IntelliSense and schema validation inside Visual Studio. All right. Yeah. Custom provisioning templates. Add, update entities, merge changes from other team members. Maybe you, reader, remember times of farm solutions. Never thought that I will ever use that term in this blog in 2019, but anyway. That's where all components were logically divided into different folders and files. We had different files for list schema, for fields files. Okay. Anyways, there you go. Get some of that if you're getting into PnP provisioning schemas. Latest SharePoint Dev Weekly. Let's see what's on there. Boop, boop. Go over to this page real quick and take a look. SharePoint Saturdays, some of the things they're talking about here. Recent advancements being delivered by the SharePoint community and Microsoft. What else? PnP.NET Core SDK, .NET frameworks and tools, and CLI and PowerShell for the tenant templating engine. PnP list picker controls, a bunch of articles they went through there. Anyways, good post there if you're trying to catch up on the happenings of the dev PnP call. Office 365, SharePoint Online versus Teams. Let's see. My company is driving into Office 365 head-on. Welcome to the club. Currently, we're trying to put together an Office 365 governance program. Boom. SharePoint Maven's got an actually really good little governance plan that you can leverage. First step, defining the applications and their uses. Yep. So in essence, some departments, if they utilize Teams, could have a department SharePoint Online site, then a team SharePoint Online site, meaning 2 different SharePoint Online sites. Yeah, you're going to have to get that under control. What's this? Question, is this a forum? Looks like it. Like a discussion. Thank you for all your replies. Yeah, all right. Anyways, probably something to be gleaned from that conversation, though, if you're in the middle of that same process. Check that out. Populating a SharePoint document library by email. Skip that one. Citizen assisted development with Mike. It's Maurice from Buckley Planet here. All right, what you got, Christian? Part of the Collab Talk podcast, he was able to sit down last week and interview Mike Fitzmaurice. I hope I said that right. Mike Fitz, VP of North America and Chief Evangelist for WebCon. Many of you know Mike from his many years with the community and prior to that as a part of the SharePoint product team at Microsoft, but many of you probably not aware of what Mike is up to lately, and so I took this opportunity to talk to him about his new company and get his perspective. You can watch the video there. There's a whole transcript of it. And just... I was hoping to pull out just a quick summary of this. So a lot of push server, okay. It's not going to be easily done. So so check that out if you're interested in what's going on over at Buckley Planet. All right, SharePoint events. Let's get this on, and then we'll get going on our Friday. All right, so SharePoint Saturday is coming up. St. Louis, February 1st. Chennai, February 8th. Cairo. Bremen coming up. Sacramento, Omaha, Vancouver. There you go. SharePoint Saturdays. If you're in one of those areas, you should probably get into that. Microsoft 365 Friday in Salt Lake on February 7th. We got SPTechCon going on. We'll be there, like I said earlier. Come check it out. If you're going to be there, hit us up. Got that discount code if you haven't already used one. Microsoft 365 Saturday, Chicago suburbs, February 29th. Office 365 Saturday in Redmond, March 7th. And SharePoint Fest and in Seattle coming up April 13th through the 17th, and then the Seattle one in August 24th through the 28th. SharePoint Conference, whoop, the big boy, May 19th through the 21st in Las Vegas. Don't miss that one. Get a chance. All right, guys, that is all I have today. Yeah, happy Friday. Got our new zone. Oh man, my webcam ain't working. Do this again. I'm having all kinds of Streamlab OBS issues today, so I apologize for those, but thanks for sticking with it. If you're watching this on demand, got any questions, hit us up, sales@bamboosolutions.com, or leave a comment in the comment area. We'll get back to you. But thanks for your time. Have a great Friday. We'll see you next week on Wednesday for live stream at noon. Yeah. Enjoy.